Okay.
Being Juan tonight?
No. He's with his
No
Thursday
wand.
group.
No wand, unfortunately.
He's having tea and crumpets with his other group.
Oh, he should have cheated on him. He said he would.
Yeah, I thought he was
I
fine.
think that was he was talking about The Witcher. He likes his Morazzo.
What else?
All right, everybody in Streamscape?
I am.
He is.
All right, I think we can probably start things.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, everybody, this is Bo from Blades and Blasters, and welcome back to Chapter 6 of Star Wars Rise of the Dark Side. We've taken quite a bit of a break, a couple months, but we're back at it again and are ready to roll some dice. With us tonight, we have Ghost, who's back with Blades and Blasters. He was much missed. And we have Kal Bala, played by Rogue, and Sonax Ordo, played by Tet, and Titus Ordo, played by Walter Peck. Without further ado, I think we're going to go ahead and get started here. Introduction, as I am wont to do. The difference between Nar Shaddaa and Corellia is a matter of degree. Where the smuggler's moon is filled with neon and scum from all over the galaxy, so is Corellia. But there's also old money on Corellia, money from the shipyards that hum day and night with the sound of industry and the spark of arc welders. Money from the businesses and brokerage houses owned by people with last names like Antilles, Andrason, and Tarek, Tomri, Creel, and Donos. Yes, while Nar Shaddaa is seedy with an underbelly of violence and lust, Corellia just does a better job of hiding it beneath an air of tradition and reputation. Arriving on Corellia years ago, Foch, known as the surgeon to nearly everyone, has just left one of these shipyards. Fleeing Nar Shaddaa with his new foundling, a young human by the name of Bran Fedik, the surgeon has found a covert and some stability. After all, he rescued Bran not only from a fugitive Jedi, Naismith Gerard, that meant to train her, dooming her to a life of being hunted, but from entanglement with his old friend, Jaren Typho. As the surgeon walks, he looks at the throng of people through his helmet's visor. Jaren. That guy could have gone one of two ways. And last time Foch saw him, he was leaving the smuggler's moon in an Inquisitor's dark shuttle. Foch may wonder what happened to his old friend. But he is here on Corellia, a core world. Bran is a foundling, and thus his responsibility, and if the covert is to ever leave and grow, it needs a ship large enough to transport them. Unfortunately, not only is his current company low on credits, the small cruisers on Corellia are locked down tighter than a Minoc on a main line. Sure, it's not honorable to steal, but if Foch is realistic, he knows that half the ships up for resale are really only in the condition they are in because they've been used for crimes across the galaxy. Bran Fedik, helmetless, looks up to Foch. So, okay, she says, that Gonzatti-class light cruiser looked nice, but it's a little worse for rare. The price isn't crazy. She pauses and then reframes her words. I mean, along with the others in the covert, you guys could scrap up the credits to buy something like that ship in, let's say, 5 years? And she shrugs as the surgeon and Bran Fedik leave the shipyard and head out into a throng of people. She sees, and the surgeon sees, aliens of all sorts around them, mingled with humans, mingled here and there by stormtroopers who throw said aliens up against the wall and threaten them.
You, over there. Against the wall, against the wall.
I get all black.
Bran kind of looks at the surgeon again and says, "But if we're ever going to leave Corellia, we need a ship." And I'll let you take it away. Let me change permissions on Bran, and you should be able to see.
I can't see anything either.
Yep. All
Okay.
players.
Gotcha.
You guys good now?
Yep, I see. Yeah, so surgeon looks around and he kind of touches his chin under the visor and looks around. 5 years, too long. Looks around at the ships. Must have to make a lot of money very quickly. Or there's the other method we can use.
Bran kind of goes past a stall and she gets some sort of what passes for street food in the Star Wars universe and flips the alien a few credits. The alien runs it through a scanner and gives her a nod. Bran tears the thing in half, gives half of it to Surgeon. This is a inside joke they have between them when she tries to feed him in public, knowing he very well may not want to take off his helmet. 5 years isn't that long. I mean, how long was I with Naismith? A couple years? That witch tried to train me, quote unquote. I ain't never going back with him. After all, we found the Mandalorians. I'm a foundling now. And you're looking after me, Fosh.
And he waves away the food. You're with that wizard for far too long. He looks around the rest of the spaceport. We need to find some jobs to do. Make some real credits fast. Even if it's a bit dirty. We have to do it for the clan. The Covert.
And the two of you keep walking along, and you leave the bazaar that's just outside the shipyards, and you look overhead as you continue walking across the bridge, and you see both commercial cruisers and private ships land and take off. Bran looks up at the sky. What sort of jobs do you have in mind? What I would give to get off this planet.
Surgeon thinks about it. He's not a fan of doing real ugly work, but the needs must, and the Covert comes first. He shrugs. Bodyguarding probably won't pay enough. Might be a situation where we have to hunt some bounties, dangerous ones.
Bran takes a bite of whatever food she has. One half of it she sticks in a small duffel that hangs on her left side, and the other one she tears into it with bright white teeth. Well, the dangerous ones are the ones that pay well, Fosh. I ain't scared.
It's good. You shouldn't let fear take hold of you. Looks around. I'll have to ask around. Apply some contacts. See if we can find a job. A good one. Something 5 years worth of pay.
Bran kind of looks at the surgeon, sighs a little bit. Well, I'll follow your lead. I've never seen you scared, Fosh. Do you remember when you were a foundling? When you were my age, before, you took the creed, put the helmet on?
I do. I was terrified, scared for a while. But you can't let it control you. You have to harness it. It's good to have a healthy fear of death. Just don't let it control you.
Starting to sound like that old wizard, Fosh.
Oh, He's dead and I'm not.
That is true. Whatever happened to that friend of yours? The one that took off with the Inquisitor?
Yeah, and Fosh, he straightens up thinking about it, thinking about Typho and Jaren going crazy in the bar, how he looked just more and more unhinged. Not like the man he met that first day in the snow when they first met. Shakes his head. Hopefully far, far away from us. He wasn't well. I think he's headed down a dark path. And I would hate to get dragged down with him.
Brand looks like she is about to give another ironic quip, but she thinks different of her, even though she can't see the surgeon's eyes through his visor. She can tell by the tension in his voice that this might be a bit of a nerve. The two of them continue to walk across the bazaar, leaving the crowds behind until they see an old speeder up ahead, a speeder that the two of them has been using to get around Corellia from time to time when they run errands for the Covert. And Bran Fedik says, kind of points at the speeder up ahead. While you're at it and we're making credits, we can probably afford to fix up this old piece of junk.
It'd be good to keep it moving. And he takes a look at it. It's beat to hell, I'm imagining.
As you guys turn to kind of head towards the speeder and head back to the Covert, you hear a voice, at first in front of you and then behind you. And you hear a male say, "Ha ha ha! Talking business, are we? Hey, come here, little girl. I got something for you." As the surgeon turns to look, you can see 3 men wielding blaster rifles behind him have stepped out from behind a shipping container, and the other 2 are in front of Bran. And the one in front of Bran kind of lowers his rifle a little bit. Well. What have we here? Are you a real Mandalorian, or you just kill one and pinch his armor? That Beskar can go for a pretty penny, boss. I say we mop up here and go make some creds. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. What do you think, Mando? Why don't you disrobe here next to your pile of bolt speeder and just leave that armor behind, and we'll let you get out of here with your heart still beating.
Yeah, the surgeon, he kind of tilts his neck back and forth like he's cracking it. How much would you imagine Beskar goes for on this dirt hole of a planet?
I don't right now, another one says, but I do know who would. Hey, boss, the Brawn Technocracy is in town. They're paying credits for all sorts of tech and fugitives. And I suspect that little girl there, she'd make a pretty penny herself. Not near as much as the Beskar, but I'm sure the Technocracy could find a use for her in one of their dens. They start to close in around.
Got to be alive to spend credits. And his hand rests on his blade.
And as that happens, you hear that. And we switch all the way up into orbit. In the cockpit of the Vendetta. Everybody can see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Aboard the Vendetta is Sonex Ordo, Titus, and the Vendetta's captain, Kal Bala. They've recently left an Imperial space station that is orbiting the shipyards and the planet of Corellia. Jared and Typho has stayed behind. He had some Imperial business to attend to, and their technician friend what was Zypher's name? Beck Dunn. Yeah, he stayed there as well to do some maintenance on his trusty astromech. While Sonex, Titus, and Kal left after they'd been paid, and now they are free to go on their own, or at least they think. They've just did quite a job for a very shady warlord and solved it in such a way that the Empire doesn't know that they double-crossed them, and they ended up letting a fugitive Jedi off the hook. And they still got paid, which is, I think, in Kal's mind, probably the best of both worlds. So I'll let you guys kind of take it away. And
Kal is Cal's actually oh, do we have a heading right now?
That's up to you. You're the captain.
We had I think we had a few things planned that we were going to have to do. It's been a while though.
Yeah.
And
this might be a little bit on the rails until we get Ghost involved. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think maybe a supply run down to the surface. If that's okay with you guys.
Titus had suggested Corellia, though he had never really specified as to why he wanted to go to Corellia. He had kept that, if there was a reason, he had kept that to himself and maybe his brother.
All right, so, I mean, for this scene, whatever the heading is right now, Kal has probably got it on autopilot for the moment, and is working on maintaining some part of the control console. So he's like underneath it right now with some tools. I just put some points in mechanics because I didn't have any, and we don't have a mechanic, I don't think, anymore. So I remember last time I had to do this, I failed horribly. So he's learning a little bit. So he's underneath right now, kind of like fixing something underneath.
Yeah, Sonics is kind of seated as a, I don't know if you have like a, what is that game that they play in the Millennium Falcon?
Sabak?
No, not Sabak, the like the chess game. Does that have a name? I'm sure it has a name. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's seated next to one of those, and he's kind of got like this this ball in his hand, and he keeps like hovering it from one hand to another, kind of idly using his not untrained force power, but
Dejaric.
Yeah. He's kind of just playing around, bored from flying long flight through space. Yeah, just. Where are we going, brother?
Tell me, what is something Clan Ordo lacks?
I think the better question is, what do we have? We lack much.
We have each other. We have the anonymity of the northern pole of the planet. We are out of underneath the thumb of the Empire for the moment. We survived our ordeal with this warlord and this inquisitor, I would say, and we were paid on top of that. I'd say we're doing pretty well right now.
Well, if you're asking what we need, then more credits? I don't know. What are you thinking? Equipment?
I am. I believe there's one thing we need besides credits and better gear for our family and clans members. I'm thinking a ship, and where better to find a ship than Corellia?
This back to tank on this ship isn't good enough for you? He looks back at it and Shakes his head.
There's like chunks of something just floating on the top of it.
Well, I think we
Like when you
cleaned
mix,
it. I
you
think
mix
we
food.
cleaned it.
Yeah, but it's dirty. It's dirty
Yeah.
again somehow. Like the stuff coming out of the pipes.
We left Bala alone for a week.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I would still have a weird cough from the last time I was in there.
All I know is I'm still injured. It's like I'm just floating in thick water that doesn't do anything.
Oh,
With
damn.
floaties that come by every once in a while.
I did buy some new back-to-leader. I picked up some before we left.
And did you buy it from a reputable shop?
Well, it was in the Imperial ship, so.
Because it sure does look, and he kind of leans up close to the back to tank. He got up from the Djar table and kind of leans in. He goes, I swear I can see things swimming in here.
Oh, well, I haven't had a chance to install it yet.
Well, regardless, don't be offended if I find a medical center on the planet and maybe get patched up, since this doesn't seem to be working for me. In fact,
Works fine for me.
these are all kind of red and angry, like they're getting infected.
I'm sure
He has hamstrung and fearsome wounds still.
He's turning the wrench, and he finally pops out from underneath the console, and he says, "Well, I could always do with more credits. That sounds good to me."
From what I know about Corellia, there's never shortage of mischief to get into.
Do you like mischief?
You know what I mean. Mischief that pays.
Oh, I'm asking our friend Kal Bala here if he likes mischief.
Have you seen the back to tank?
I've seen his sister.
He smiles. And he says, "Of course I do. That's how I make money." Well, let me put in the course. I'll set it in.
Let's head to the surface and see what we can find. But one question, Cal. How tight is the yoke, that Imperial yoke around your neck?
Oh, we should be breaking free of that anytime soon. Jaren's already made up his mind. He's gonna run away with us as soon as he gets a chance.
Oh, really?
As you say that, just as a reminder of the Imperial presence, like a trio of TIE fighters emerges from the space station and starts to head down towards the Corellian and just zooms past you.
But yeah, sooner the better getting out of here is fine by me. Just even walking around the ship, I always feel like somebody's listening to my thoughts or something.
Well, it looks like we'll have to go all the way to the unknown regions if we want to escape the Imperial yoke.
Quick question, has the destruction of Mandalore happened yet? I can't remember if we decided that or not.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's why everybody's kind of...
Yeah. Well, since Mandalore was bombed into ash, Mandalore sector has been a little light. I know the Imperials are still out there, but seems now that they've done their damage, they've gone on to greener pastures.
Well, we could go to Concordia, I suppose.
I'd rather stay on Ordo.
Shrugs.
As you do that, Cal, the communicator kind of attached to your belt starts to beep, 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 beep. If you look down at it, you have an encrypted transmission coming through your comm center there on the ship.
He'll patch it through. No reason to hide it.
You patch it through, and kind of outlined in flickering blue electric light is a cloaked figure with a green face and deep, dark black eyes. The cloak is kind of shrouded over her eyes, and you see what looks to be a lightsaber hanging at her waist. And this is somebody you recently have had contact with. It's Suelu Hara, the Jedi that you guys let go recently on that forest planet.
Yeah.
And you hear her voice kind of start. It says, "Greetings. This is Jedi Knight Suelu Hara. Worry not, Kal Bala. This message is heavily encrypted, and I trust you not to turn me in. After all, we are both wanted by the Empire, or were both wanted, and you just don't know it yet because the Empire is unaware that you double-crossed them. So that makes us allies of a sort, yes? And you are the kind of ally that values credits. So, if you and your crew want credits, then it's credits you will receive, along with other material important for setting things up for a safe and secure future. Our spies place your current location over Corellia. Is that right, Kal?"
He looks back at the others before answering, and then he says, "Something like that."
Well then, Mr. Bala, it just so happens we are in need of services on said planet. If you're willing to help, it will be a hefty pay for both you and your crew. You'll have the utmost secrecy and 2,000 credits each. 1,000 each for the sentient cargo we would like you to retrieve. I will need a verbal affirmative.
3,000 credits each? That sounds pretty good.
2,000, Mr. Bala. 2,000. Although, if you manage to avoid any Imperial entanglements, my financier is a gentleman with most deep pockets, and an extra 1,000 apiece would not be unreasonable, Mr. Bala.
Well, what do you say, guys?
Titus turns to his brother and kind of gives him a nod. Turns back to Kal Bala. What do you have in mind? How dangerous? What's the cargo? The names?
Sentience
There
of
aren't-
people, probably smuggling people out of Corellia, I would assume.
You would assume correctly. How did you fall in with 2 Mandalorians, Kal?
Just by chance, I guess. Just my luck.
In my experience, there is no such thing as chance, although luck has played a certain role in my own destiny, and I sense it plays an important role in yours, Kal. You're always one to gamble. And as for the danger of this mission, it's of course dangerous. There's no mission that pays thousands and thousands of credits that isn't dangerous. And her hologram kind of disappears and is replaced by 3 others. These will be your targets. 2 of them are former Padawans that have managed to escape Order 66 and gone off the grid. We have intelligence that both of them are on planet size now. Bran Fedik was very close to liberation and very close to rejoining the Jedi Order when she was abducted from her guardian, the late Jedi Naismith Gerard. The younger Padawan is a boy of 6. Word is, unfortunately, that he has been abducted by a group of galactic criminals by the name of the Bran Technocracy. I can only assume that they plan to sell poor Kibo Lin to the highest bidder. And I can only assume that they know his identity as a Jedi and Force sensitive. So, Time is of the utmost importance, Mr. Bala.
Just out of character, is that does any of these look familiar?
Yeah, Naismith Gerard is the one that you guys killed, and you would probably know Bran Fedik's face as the youngling that the surgeon kind of took under his wing. This Jedi would have no way of knowing that stuff, though.
Oh my god. That's the one that was sleeping in his ship and he came up and shot him in the head. Right?
No, that was a different one.
Different Jedis you murdered.
Yeah.
God. Okay. So Cal knows that this one's dead already?
Yeah, but she says he's dead. She just put that up as a reference. I put a little death note on him.
Okay. So these are the two that we would be bringing out of there. So yeah, maybe he'll like look and see the other one, and kind of get a little nervous about it, you know. But try to keep his cool because the memory of that is pretty haunting to him. The stain from on the seat that he can't wash out is still back there. So, but he nods, tries to keep his cool, and says, "Yeah, that'd be we can do that. Should be no problem."
Very well. I'm going to send you an encrypted communication number that you can contact me after the mission is complete. I will send you coordinates of their last known whereabouts. May the Force be with you, Mr. Bala, and your Mandalorian friends.
Yeah, thanks.
And the transmission cuts away.
You're supposed to say, and may the Force be with you. Not thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks back, probably like a little nervous look on his face, and he says, yeah, that, it just doesn't feel right to say that for some reason. Not so sure I believe in all that.
He hovers the ball over his hand. What do you mean? Look at this. And he's kind of swinging it back. You know, maybe he wouldn't do that because I don't know that I've told anybody that he's Force sensitive.
I don't think he did.
Okay, never mind. He doesn't do that then. It's been months. So.
The Empire believed in Jedi. That's why they killed them all.
Yeah. Doesn't mean they're right, though.
I usually find people who commit genocide are rarely on the right side of history.
I mean, do you believe in all that stuff? Yeah, he starts to set in the coordinates and everything as he's talking.
I was old enough to remember the Clone Wars. I remember the Jedi fighting, and I heard stories about what they were able to do. I believe in them. I know they're being hunted down, so the Empire must believe some of that's true. Otherwise, why go to such trouble for charlatans and those just doing a little trick of the eye?
Well, religious fanatics get a little crazy.
I think it goes beyond religion there, my friend.
The Jedi, they're a danger to the Empire. The greatest warriors, even greater than Mandalorians, maybe.
They defeated the Mandalorians thousands of years ago.
Regardless, let's go get these kids.
Well, we know where one is. Do we know where the other one is? They said the technocracy had that Kibo. Do we have an idea on where this Bran might be?
My
Demo.
name.
Would they not have them both? It would make sense. Why
Possibly.
would they both be here?
Then why did the Jedi only mention one?
Couldn't say. Finding one kid without any leads, it's going to be impossible.
And the question is, do we have any allies on the planet? It's possible.
That's a good place to do a little screen wipe action. Here's a screen wipe. And we find us back. Let's see here. Rebel Alliance. That's pretty good. And we're back with the surgeon and Bran. Bran kind of like, you can hear the power up of a blaster pistol. She kind of reaches down to the her gun belt and looks to Fosh. What's the next move? And you like have out your blades, right?
Yeah, I've got my blade out, and he doesn't look over his shoulder. I think you know, Bran, and he's gonna. These guys are pretty dead set on what they're doing, so he's just closest one he sees. He's just gonna use the wrist blaster and try to shoot him.
All right. Let's roll force points, boys.
Oh, yeah.
The best way to do that, let me do it manually. I did add a little force dice macro up in your button list, so hopefully that works for you. So everybody just rolls a force die.
Oh boy!
So it begins. Every time.
Oh!
Where did he say it
Almost
was? I'm sorry.
You gotta find your token. Click on. Find your token.
Yeah.
Click on.
Oh yeah,
it,
yeah.
and then-
I'll move your guys' token over.
I was like, where's my token?
There you go. There you go.
Ah, force dice. There we go.
Ah!
Oh my gosh.
What?
Wonderful.
Starting
So
strong.
4 dark. Force player update. Okay.
Game is rigged.
4 dice. Okay. Let me make sure that the turn order is clear. And I'm going to do initiative. Initiative is going to be cool for everybody.
Let me see. Make sure I have all this stuff in it. I don't think I have anything for initiative anyway. No. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Kal Bala, you guys don't need to do yours yet.
Initiative, cool. Oh my.
Yep. And I'm just going to have her act on yours. So you go first.
Yeah, it's gonna try to blast one with the wrist blaster.
I'm just gonna remove all terms.
All right.
Clear. Yeah, they're in short range. Short range, so that would be just whatever. It's easy difficulty or 1 purple.
Okay. Oh boy, it's been a minute. What else can I do? So you get 1 maneuver. Is it 1 maneuver, 1 action? Is that how this shit works?
Yeah.
Yep, you can take an extra maneuver for 2 strain.
I'll do an aim. Actually,
You get a movement for an
so
aim.
one blue.
Mm-hmm.
No setbacks. I don't have anything for proficiency, I don't think.
Nice. That's pretty good. Crits 3. Okay, what do you want to do? So damage 6. Let me see what their soak
Let me
is.
check the
Their
cheat
soak.
sheet. The two.
Says
Their
five.
soak is 5. 5. Yep.
He had 8 damage though.
Yep.
I'll give.
None of them are dead just yet.
I'll give two advantages and give a boost, right?
Yep.
I'll give a boost to Bran, whatever
To
she's
Bran.
about.
Okay. Yeah, she's gonna aim and shoot at the guards as well. And so she'll get 2 boosts for the aim. 6, 7, 8 minus it's gonna be 3.
She has Pierce too.
Yep.
5, right?
Oh yeah, it does have Pierce too, so that'd be 5. Yeah, that would kill 2 of them. Actually, I'd kill 2 of them.
Oh, Bran's on it.
Yeah, so the surgeon, like, you knock one of them, right? And like he drops his rifle, he goes, ah! He reaches down for a knife at his belt. And Bran, you've been teaching her well, and she just goes into a female Han Solo pose, you know, the very classic one with his arm out, and she whips out his gun. Pew, pew! And just 2 of them fall down. Okay, now I'm gonna manage minions and heavy. You're gonna go down to rank 2, and there's 3 of them left. The guards are going to aim at you, Surgeon, and they're going to fire their blaster rifles. And I'm going to use one of my upgrades. (11 minus 5), that's 6 damage. Or 6 wounds, yep. And then I'm going to use a dark side point. And you're back up. As that happens, Surgeon, is going to be your round, but Sonics and Titus and Cal, why don't you kind of go in and tell me what it looks like as you guys are kind of heading down from on orbit, and you're like landing like 150 meters or so away from where this little fight is going on. The fight's kind of in like a little shady nook, like where he would park the speeder, and you can see like a little like blaster bolts firing as you're landing the ship. I'll let you kind of role play what it looks like as you kind of land and figure, man, this is a shady area.
Seeing that they had landed in the the wrong side of town, darker corner of the spaceport, seeing blaster fire on Corellia almost doesn't seem unsurprising. As he looks at brother, goes, looks like we picked a good time to land. Kind of looks over. I don't know if he has macro binoculars. He might, and puts them up and tries to take a look. Let me check the old sheet. And looks over to try and get an idea. Yes, he has macro binoculars. So he puts the old macros up to the visor and peers through and to see what's going on.
You would be able to tell. Well, actually, why don't you give me a perception with 2 boosts?
Okay.
I also have a recon remote I can send.
Yep.
As soon as I find perception, good lord. There it is. Okay, difficulty easy, boost 2.
Yeah. That's fine.
I assume it was easy to look through binoculars.
Yeah. So you can see, obviously, what you see is like 5 guys surrounding this blonde-haired girl. She's like a teenager, and it's a Mandalorian there. And you see him like whip out this wrist blaster, wound one of them, and this girl whips out a pistol and guns two of them down. But then you see kind of the surgeons get spun around a little bit as the three remaining ones kind of fire on him with their blaster rifles.
I assume there's too much movement to realize it's one of the two from the hollow imagery.
Yeah.
All right. He kind of looks at Sonics and Kal, goes, "I'll be damned. It's a Mandalorian out there. At least one dressed like one. Let's go." And he just kind of like starts immediately running that way.
Yeah, once they land, he'll run off out of the ramp, and he looks at Kal Bala and says, "It's a Mando, we have to help." And he might have stepped away. Sonics has his has a nano dagger in one hand and his neuronic lash in the other as he rushes towards the fighting. I just told you that we're heading towards the fighting that we saw when we landed, which is the surgeon.
Are we in range at all for a blaster?
You would be in long range when you start.
Oh, good. I can shoot from here then.
All right, roll initiative.
You said cool, yeah?
Yeah, do cool. 3. I already deleted the other folks, but that's fine.
Should I reroll?
What did you get, Cal? You guys all got better than the guards. The guards got nothing. They got 0. They got 0.
Do we have a token?
It's under, yeah. So when on your token at the top, it says initiative/utilities,
Okay,
and then it brings up, cool vigilance.
Yeah. So you guys are all going to be able to go first. I'm going to let the surgeon go first, though, just because it is his fight, and you guys are kind of just landed. So, Ghost, what's up?
I'm gonna use a maneuver to close a range, so the surgeon's gonna close into engaged, and with the knife, just try to start going ham. Actually, Strain would give me another maneuver, right?
Yep.
I'll give my. Is it 1 strain or 2 strain for that maneuver? 2.
It's 2.
2
strain.
I'll give myself 2 strain so I can aim, like take an aim action with the knife as well, and I'm just gonna try to carve them up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
There's no difficulty
these are
in that, though.
No.
Yeah.
There should be 1 difficulty. I'll
just
do it
roll
real
1
quick.
purple. It's not gonna matter.
No.
I took away 1 of the successes, but that's it.
Ooh,
But
boy.
he's got 2 triumphs.
2 credits. Yeah.
Kill
Let's see.
with that.
Let's see what
Oh yeah, that has Pierce 2. So let's do the damage first on these guys. So damage is going to be 4, 5, toke 5, but Pierce 2, so it's going to be 3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's doesn't kill one of them, but wounds them badly. And then what do you want to do with the triumphs?
I'm gonna make it to where I disarmed the 2 of them. If I can, just use 1 triumph each, because its target drops weapon they're wielding. So I'm going to do that.
You could do that, or you could kill them if you want. But if you want to keep them alive for some notorious reason,
I'll kill one and disarm another one, actually.
Yeah, it says Raw states that triumph counts as an auto kill against 1 minion in a minion group.
Yep.
Yeah,
So what does that look
kill
like,
one and disarm
Mr.
another.
Surgeon?
Yeah, so Surgeon closes his distance after he gets basically shot through the shoulder. From that blaster rifle they hit him with. He's not very happy. So he closes in under blaster fire and just rams the vibro knife up into one of their necks. Just pushes him to the ground. And then slices open the hand of another one, making him drop his weapon. And just holds the knife at him, expecting Bran to take care of the last one. Dead or alive, your choice.
And Bran just kind of like aims twice at the head of like the last remaining one, and she says dead, and she's going to suffer 2 strain and aim twice at the last one. Easy. Boost 2. Smoked.
Oh man.
Just puts a smoking hole, and you guys can see this. And like these people are like the surgeon and Bran are like operating like a well-oiled machine. And she drops the last one, so there's only one unarmed guard kind of still hanging out there. So
Yeah, surgeon will point his knife at the last one. She's in a killing mood. How are you feeling? And he's talking to the guard.
Mercy, please, Mandalorian. You are known as an honorable people. We have no food. We have no credits. We do what we must to survive.
I'm gonna kick
His
him in the
voice is
groin.
suddenly very gentle.
Yeah, kick him in the groin, push him to the ground. Stay there
Doubles
for
over
a
in
moment.
front of you. Of course. Oh, he looks left and right and sees his friends dead. One of them cut to ribbons, and two with smoking holes in their chest, another with a hole in his forehead. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, surgeon will self-medicate and kind of the others get him a chance to get in here.
Yeah, Sonics looks to Titus and says, "Huh, looks like he didn't need our help after all."
Well, let's go assist a fellow Mandalorian and make sure there aren't any more interlopers, shall we?
Hey, I think I know that guy.
How would you know him with the helmet?
I've seen that helmet before.
Fair enough. As he's kind of like jogging towards the Mandalorian, what would presumably be a foundling and or maybe a child, yeah, his child, and then the guards that they have incapacitated.
Yeah, Sonics compresses the trigger on the lash and it retracts the lash part into the hilt. And he tucks it onto his belt along with the dagger as the humming from the lash silences. He walks behind his brother as they approach.
As they're getting closer, he's like, more so. He's the only one I ever seen that loves a knife so much.
Seems like the Force has smiled upon us then,
As they get up there, he'll say, is that the surgeon? And he'll wave.
Yeah, surgeon hears the voice that's like, what are the odds, basically, and he'll look over and see Kal Bala. He's happy. You can't see it, but there is a smile under the helmet because he does remember good times with Kal Bala. And he says, well, Kal Bala, still alive, eh? And he will walk up and extend his hand.
Yeah, he's big smiles, big white teeth, and he comes up and does the arm clasp. And he says, it seems you're, this stuff just follows you around, doesn't it? And he, like, looks at the guys on the ground.
Galaxy's full of trouble, and he looks past Cal and sees two Mandalorians. He kind of straightens up. He wasn't really expecting to see... They're not from the Covert, and he probably knows that right away. It seems you found more of us. You just have a knack for finding Mandalorians, Kal Bala.
Kind of weird. I just started running into you guys all of a sudden. And he says, this is Sonics and Titus.
Titus nods. We are of Clan Ordo. And you?
Not a clan that famous. And he walks up and he will extend an arm. A traditional Mandalorian greeting. Clan Dushielu. Very far away. And I might be the last.
And who is this? And he kind of looks over at Bran. Is this your child?
Foundling. My responsibility. Although she grows more independent by the day. He looks back and sees Bran, obviously accounting for 3. He's very proud, though he hasn't told her yet.
You know these guys?
Not these two, but the name. The name is familiar. If they live up to that name, well, they can be trusted. I'm sure every Mandalorian knows Ordo. Like,
Yeah, Sonic speaks. He looks at his brother. He's like, "We have a problem. The child, that is one that was presented to us for the mission."
yeah, Surgeon looks at Cal after he hears that. What mission? He takes a step back, actually.
Perhaps we can go somewhere to talk instead of conversing casually at a crime scene, which I'm sure will be having more port authority in the area soon enough.
Yeah, funny you should say that. All of you give me an average perception check with a setback because of the onlookers that have kind of gathered around.
Average with the setback.
Yeah.
Does do my crits auto factor? I don't remember. In
I
my
think
rolls.
I don't think that the ones you had are still active. I think they're going to contribute to
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
other crits.
I
You know what I'm
gotcha.
saying? But
Yep,
the
I
effect
do.
is just that encounter. Yeah.
I gotcha. Yep.
Fail.
We don't see anything.
There's 2 setbacks?
Oh my
One.
God.
1, okay. Oh boy,
Our
we're
helmets
not
are in
very
the way.
good.
Waiting for Cal to save us.
As you hear that, you hear a voice say,
The 5 of you. 6 of you. Stop. There. Don't move. Hands up.
and as you turn around, you see kind of 2 of these like black-clad scout trooper-looking guys have kind of like moseyed up with their speeders like towards you guys, and they have them on idle, and they're kind of at the edge of the crowd, and 4 troopers are in some sort of slow-moving speeder, like a patrol craft, and one of them points his rifle at you guys. They're in medium range to all of you right now.
Titus looks to the surgeon. I don't suppose you know the back alleys very well?
No. But I'm willing to find out if we think that's best.
Is there any close area that we can duck out or start running towards?
You have 1 light side point.
Then I guess we should use it.
Bo, can I use move to have one of these scaffoldings like fall onto them to give us a advantage in getting away? I have upgrade strength, range, and hurl, so it's only silhouette 1, so it's not tiny, but that's like human size. A human sized beam of steel falling down on them could maybe give us
and with a using a destiny point, I would allow that. You finding like a weak, like there's probably a bunch of rusted out girders and stuff in this area, right? There's probably one that's weak that you could like pull on, and it would kind of come down on I'll give a 1d3 and see how many of them it takes out.
And then we can run. Do I need to make a discipline check for that?
With just a regular move, and if you're not throwing it at somebody, you don't have to do that. So it's just a force roll.
Oh, okay. So okay, I see. All right, let me do that. Where is that? That's force roll. Force die? No, that's not what I want.
Yeah, force die.
Force die? Okay. I have 2, actually. I should do both. Shit. I'll use it, I mean... Oh, I have to use a destiny point anyway to use them, huh? Yeah, okay. I'll do it. I use a destiny point to do the move.
Okay, and you take 2 strain and mark down. We're not using the morality system just yet, but give yourself 5 conflict.
All right, let me figure out where I put all that. Okay.
Or just note it somewhere.
Yeah,
It'll be fine. And tell me what it looks like. Oh, good, Cal.
I was gonna say before we take off running, can Cal also shoot that last guy that's on the ground before they leave?
Oh yeah.
He had
3.
We had quite the conversation in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, he would know all our names. Yeah, so as this is happening, Sonic's kind of... I don't know how perceptible it is to people, but maybe to his brother, maybe even Bran, he kind of points up to the rafters above the stormtroopers, and there's a crank, crank, and this big beam just like hurls downward, falling from above at them as Sonic says, "We should go!"
It falls down, and it completely takes out one of these commander officers. He kind of looks up, and he goes, "What's that?" And it just smashes them, and it obstructs the other 2, right? So they're like firing up their speeders to try to chase you, but it's going to take a minute.
Time to go. And he just like starts beating feet.
Yeah.
You guys staying on foot?
Unless we... Yeah, I think... Yeah, unless we have... Could we get back to the ship and launch it?
Cal's gonna, after he shoots that guy, he's gonna jet boots.
Where are you going with your jet boots?
Yeah, I don't know. Where I'm following my brother, so...
When everybody takes off running, are they heading for, like, an alleyway, or are they trying to head back to my ship?
I'm heading away from the ship just due to the Imperial presence and seeing the Imperial TIE fighters.
Yeah.
I doubt we'd make it out of the atmosphere, and they don't know we're coming from that ship.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, thankfully, hopefully killing that last guy will keep our names out of it. So yeah, he'd probably take off, maybe on top of a nearby building or down the alleyway.
Yeah, follow the Ordos. Bran's smart enough to know she'll follow me. I'm sure we've practiced this.
Anything, yeah. Basically, they're heading in any direction that will allow them to, make the speeders,
Difficult
difficult to maneuver. So the throng of people, if you're in a dock or a spaceport, there's going to be masses of people somewhere, or maybe the narrow alleyways of street vendors, things like that, or people peddling their wares by the spaceport to the various dock workers and whatnot.
Yeah. So you guys take off running. There's a narrow bridge kind of leaving that whole spaceport shipyards area. And the stormtrooper and the officer take a minute to kind of find their way around this the wreckage of the gird of the steel beam that kind of came down. And Bran is kind of beating feet right behind Tosh. And she's like, "That did not expect this. We do not want to be caught by these Imperials. You know what they'll do to people like us. Like me. You remember me? She kind of whispers to him, my special talents."
They're not going to catch us. We have to focus on running. He's just trying to keep hustling.
Yeah, they're going to both do planetary, piloting planetary with setback.
Is there a vehicle maybe nearby that I can hijack and pick them up in?
There's Tasha's speeder. That's a fail. So anybody beating feet needs to make athletics check, and then if Cal, if you want to try to get that speeder going, it's probably ready to go as long as Tosh has the keys, the key equivalent to it.
What's the difficulty on that athletics?
Average. No setback for you guys.
Is that piloting?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Athletics if you guys are running.
difficulty easy.
Average. The only person that the surgeon
I succeeded.
and Bran and Sonic succeeded.
Just Titus is slow.
And Call.
So they pulled it. Yeah, they pulled ahead, but you guys both got you failed, but I think you guys both got advantages. So these guys are kind of coming behind you, and I'll let you role play what it looks like as they're kind of maneuvering their speeders like through all the wreckage and stuff, and a bunch of people have gathered around as well, right? And so people are yelling at the stormtroopers. Every once in a while, like a drunk guy will throw something at the stormtroopers as they're trying to catch you. The surgeon and Sonics are able to kind of get ahead and hide, and they're kind of out of danger. But the stormtroopers and the officer can definitely see Cal and Titus. What are you guys going to do?
And Cal is currently trying to get... Does he see that he's trying to get into a speeder of some kind?
Yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, Titus kind of lumbering along realizes that the stormtroopers and their officer are catching up to him, and in his peripheral he sees Cal heading towards a speeder on the presumption that he's going to either take it or use it in some manner. He's going to dive for some cover, knowing that he can't outrun them.
Yeah. Cal jumps in and starts up the speeder. And shouts back, "Hey, let's go!"
Cal, give me a average piloting planetary.
Oh, I got this. No problem.
That's pretty good.
Kal Bala.
Give yourself a strain. I'll do it.
Thank you.
You break out into a little sweat as you get the ignition going. Tell me what it looks like as you zoom past Titus and you're able to pick him up.
Yeah, he sees Titus taking cover behind some garbage chute or something, and he swerves the speeder over right next to him, and he's like, "Hop in! I got us a ride." As Titus jumps in, he floors it straight down the line towards.
Yeah, as he floors it, I don't know what type of speeder we have, but he's gonna lean out and shoot at him to kind of dissuade their pursuit.
And Tosh and Sonic, you guys can see what's going on. You're probably towards the end of this bridge here, and you can kind of see them in the speeder racing towards you. You see Cal kind of behind the wheel with Sonic starts to lean out to fire at the troopers that are pursuing. What are you guys doing?
Ooh, is there enough? If there's enough space in that speeder for all of us, that would be a nice pickup. Would that speeder fit the five of us?
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah, if they're
Luke Skywalker speeders, basically, or
Yeah.
If they're heading towards us, we'll get. I mean, Surgeon will get ready. Bran, give them some space. And he'll look and wait for Cal to roll up, assuming that's what Cal's gonna do.
Yeah, he's sliding up, trying to get him.
And you just hear the whine of the speeders. Zzz, zzz. And you hear blasters that they start just firing randomly at you guys. And so now Titus and Cal, you guys are all in the speeder. And we'll let you guys go first. I'm not even going to do initiative. So who's hanging out and firing at these guys?
Titus will fire. It's going to do is maneuver true aim and then unload on the stormtroopers.
All right.
So difficulty average.
Yeah, it's going to be a setback because they're like moving and dodging and stuff, though.
So aim is a boost of 1.
Mm-hmm.
Setback because they're dip, dodge, duck, dive, dodge. And then, so true aim is, I think it's upgrade. Upgrade is attack roll. So upgrade proficiency 1, right?
Yep.
And then no downgrade, no upgrade.
I need to mark. You guys did use that light side point, didn't you?
We did.
Yeah, I had to use it.
Whoa. 9, 10, 11,
Oh,
12,
God.
13, 14.
Don't forget my ability adds 4 damage on top of that.
15. Okay, Raz. 19.
Razzmatazz dropped an asteroid on those motherfuckers.
19 damage, minus 5 for Sloke. That's 14 damage. That's going to take out 2 of them. And I'm going to, what does that look like, my man? Give yourself a strain, too, for the setback, or for the threat.
Let's see here. As he's going down the speedway, he's just sitting up there just firing, and despite that they're moving left and right and whatnot, maybe they're a little slower. He's just a good shot, and he picks 2 of them off cleanly, and they just do the Wilhelm scream and fall backwards, motionless, as the other 2 keep running, in vain going after the speeder.
Who wants to go next?
I'll let the people who can shoot go.
I'll shoot. Why not?
Yeah, they're in medium range from you right now.
Me and Bran can. Bran's gonna be the one who does the work, but I'll do it for the sake of it. Stormtroopers. Average difficulty on medium range. Is that what it is?
Average difficulty with a setback. Yep.
Okay. I'll aim.
Six, 7. Target, so it's 5. That'd be 2 damage.
I will.
That's actually enough to kill another one, though.
Hey, got him. Catch one at the top of his helmet. And falls off. I'll give the next person a boost with the 2 advantage.
Sonic, you want to go, or you want Brown to go, or Kyle?
No, let people who can shoot go.
What are the rules for driving and shooting? Is that even possible, or?
No, but you can do a opposed drive check to see if you can pull away from these guys or get a good position on them. Right now, the stormtrooper is only down to 1 guy, so it's just the guy that's driving. And so narratively, Cal, he's trying to catch up to you and sideswipe you, right?
Oh yeah.
That guy's committed.
Yeah. He knows that Jaren Typho is going to smoke him if he fails.
Alright. Yeah. Does Sonic want to take him out, or do you want me to?
No.
Because I'll.
I'm not sure he's real interested in using his abilities a bunch if he doesn't have to. So.
Yeah. If
I have no.
If I see.
So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If I see him pulling up, Cal's gonna try to sideswipe him into something.
Sure thing.
Is that piloting?
Yep. Piloting
Did
planetary.
Bran even shoot? I mean, she
Nope.
could shoot.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's
I'm just
coming.
waiting since she's an NPC.
Is this easy, average?
It's going to be average.
Right. Any
And
boost,
is it-
setback, anything?
I think you get a pretty good boost for the next action.
Oh, it's going to be opposed against the stormtrooper, so it's actually going to be against his. So it's going to be 3 purple, so hard.
Okay.
Actually.
You get 1 boost.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah.
It's like I gave the advantage.
So hard. 1 boost.
Just don't wreck. Oh, baby.
Ooh, with 2 advantages. So narratively tell me what cool Dukes of Hazzard move you're going to do to make his speeder like ramp up and explode or something cool.
Cal's like telling a story about when he was little, and he's like, I outran a whole squad of these. Did I tell you that story yet? And then he like swings it to the side and kind of like smashes one of the stormtrooper into a large crate. And he's like, he starts laughing as they fly by.
And Bran's going to pop a shot off at the officer here. And that's just a miss. Yeah.
Yeah, if everybody
Yeah, she-
misses, then Sonex will do something. He'll throw a silhouette 1 like debris at them as they're coming after him.
Mm-hmm.
I have hurl. Let's see here. Let me look at this thing.
So that uses discipline like a ranged attack. So
yeah, it does.
basically your discipline check is going to be average with a setback.
Can I give him advantage or?
With your piloting thing? Oh yeah, you can. Yep, you got 2 advantages, so sure. So give yourself a boost.
Where did that go? Where did that go? I can never find anything on this. Okay, here we go. Strength, silhouette 1. Spend force dice to increase range. So I have. Oh, I can. Yes. I'm just trying to remember how this works. Dealing damage equal to. Okay, so I can spend 1 force die to increase range if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's range normally. Short range probably.
Yeah.
So
yeah. The problem you're going to have is you're going to have to roll 2 lights because you guys don't have any destinies to burn.
All right. Well, I got 2 dice. Let me give it a whirl here to see if it works.
But do you think you're some sort of wizard?
I am. I'm a wizard.
Oh!
Yeah, you are.
You're a wizard, Harry.
Now that does what's it
so
do?
I can-
It's do 10 damage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but roll your discipline and see. Roll your
yeah,
discipline and
I
see.
gotta do that first.
It's 10 plus whatever you roll.
All right. Let me. Plus I
That's
got
kind of cool. Like with the wreckage of the guy flying into it, and like a bunch of barrels flying up. It might even.
Did I get a
disguise
boost
it.
or something? Did somebody say I get a boost?
Yeah, you get a boost.
You got a boost from Bala.
From the baller.
From the Bala.
So that's 11 damage. Soak is 4. So he would take 7 wounds. And what am I going to do with the 3 threat? Okay. I know what he's going to do. He's just going to... so tell me what it looks like first as you hit him with something.
Yeah, he just kind of grabs something like that's loose, and he tries to make a nonchalant motion towards, it's Star Wars, so he has to motion with his arms, and he kind of like flings a barrel, and it goes end over end and smashes into him and rocks him. Hits him straight in the chest.
Gets hit in the chest, and there's sparks underneath his speeder bike. But with he kind of puts it into a tailspin and actually just stops it But the 3 threat, he kind of gets on his comm link and says, he goes, let me find my stormtrooper voice.
Commanding officer, this is Officer 327. We have 3 heavily armored suspects and 2 more perpetrators heading into the industrial district. And I think one of them may be a Jedi.
No.
And Bran kind of looks up at Sonics and is like, what was that? She maybe could even sense that you used the Force. And you guys pull away from the officer. And you guys are free.
Don't know what you mean. Something must have fallen and hit him.
Cal's laughing because he thinks it was his fault. He's like, "Did you see that?"
Amazing piloting, Kal.
I didn't even think I hit those barrels over there.
Well done, Kal. Well done. And he kind of turns to Surgeon. I don't suppose there's somewhere you know where we can lay low for a bit? How long have you been here?
I have a place. I've been here for a while. As a covert, we need to ditch this speeder before we go there. They'll be looking for it.
Fair enough. Kal, let's find somewhere quiet and dark and ditch this.
All right. Yeah, he'll go cut back into the back alleys and find a nice place, streetwise, or if it's necessary.
Yeah, give me a streetwise there.
Yeah, if there's a bunch of transients or, Pete the downtrodden, he'll probably look for a couple
Cal's
of
just going to shoot him.
Yeah. And I was going to offer a couple credits to, wear their coats or, some sort of pullover or poncho. But I guess if Cal's just going to shoot them so they can't say we were here.
No, yeah, but Kal, yeah, let's say that you very much find like the Skid Row type area, and you guys kind of pull the speeder in. There's a bunch of indigents kind of laying around in the gutters. Some of them have jackets on, other has like long trench coats. They're smeared with grease and have holes in them. And they go, "Hey, what are you doing here? Don't you know this is a dangerous neighborhood?"
I sure hope somebody doesn't steal my speeder.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah.
Of course.
Get him.
Oh man.
One of them kind of comes forward and
God,
says,
he's hideous.
"I didn't know better. It looks like you're on the run from something."
I was just looking for the Twilight dancers around here.
Well, a few credits and maybe I won't say anything when the stormtroopers start to come around this area. You can also charm him, do all that good stuff you can do, Kal.
Yeah, the surgeon's looking at this guy and he kind of looks at, 1 Mandalorian, 2 Mandalorian, 3 Mandalorians, and he just kind of looks at the guy. He's like, he walks up to him and looks down at him. He's, "You're really going to threaten 3 Mandalorians?"
He kind of looks around. Give me a is it intimidation in this one?
I would guess. I'm not very good at it. I'm not very good at it, but I think it fits.
Yeah, do a coercion. It's just going to be average, but you're going to have 1, 2, 3 boosts. And if it does fail, it's just because he's high.
There's no way that guy's high. Come on.
There you go. And you can gain back a strain if you'd like with the advantage.
Yes, I would.
Actually, why don't everybody make a discipline check, and you get that after combat's over. You get that much strain back. I think it's discipline.
I hope so. Pretty good
Huh.
at that.
It's non. There's no difficulties, right? It's just
Yeah, right.
yeah. So
No
2. So I'm
difficulties.
good.
So 2.
Hey.
Yeah, so that the transient is like, I know, I run my mouth sometimes. It's the sparkle dust I snort.
Hmm. He's kind of nods. Be on your way.
Hey, well, good luck to you. We'll be heading to that building over there, and he'll point to some building that they're not really going to, you know.
Yeah, they give you guys a nod, of course.
And,
So you guys head off and ditch the speeder.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe we'll come back for it, but Surgeon's kind of starts to take the lead to where the covert is. He'll get a little space between them, and he'll whisper to Bran, "They're Mandalorian, but be on your guard. They were looking for you, it sounded like."
But I'm safe here, Tosh, you mean. I'm with you, right? I may have this gift, but I don't want to be hunted for the rest of my life. Or if I am hunted, I want family to fall back on. I don't want to live the life of a fugitive Jedi running always from these armored fiends. I'm not going with them. I'd sooner die, Tosh.
You're not going with them. Just be wary. They're Mandalorian. They have honor. But if they're desperate, if anyone's desperate, you have to be careful. That's all
I'll follow your lead, big guy.
Yeah, he'll take everybody to the covert.
Any other role play from anybody before we head to the covert?
No, sir.
I'll let the ghost kind of tell me what it looks like as you guys walk into the covert.
So it's below the street level, almost like, if you can imagine, like stairways into a speakeasy, but it's a stairway down into a long tunnel on one of the side streets. There are a few different doors you have to twist and turn into. A few markings on the walls. Probably of, it's Mandoa. Is that the Mandalorian language? It's a couple of Mandoa characters.
Don't know. Don't have Chris's number on speed dial.
I'll have to give him a call. There's a couple of characters that that the surgeon follows, but eventually they come to a door. He knocks on it, waiting for someone to answer.
And indeed, like the slit kind of opens in the door. Hello.
I'm back. I have some honored guests that are going to be coming in.
Honored guests. Another foundling, Tosh? Where's Bran?
He looked to Bran. She could speak for herself. Thank you, Cal.
Bran goes, I'm here. What's this guy's name that's at the door, do you think?
Damn, what's a good Mandalorian name?
I don't know.
Kresh, maybe? Tarlock?
Kresh.
Yeah, let's go Tarlock. Tarlock's good.
Tarlock. Yeah, Tarlock kind of just creaks the door open. Swings to the inside. Welcome home, Tosh. Foundling.
Tarlock. He nods back. 2 other Mandalorians. And a good friend. One that I trust.
They're welcome in this covert, as long as you accept responsibilities for their actions, Surgeon.
Always.
This is the way.
This is the way.
What's Cal and Sonics and Titus doing?
As they walk in, they kind of survey the area to see how rundown it is, how equipped or ill-equipped the Mandalorians in this covert are, and he'll take his helmet off once inside, and I'm not sure on Mando culture, but wait to see if they're introduced to the covert leader.
I don't know about Surgeon's culture, which sect he's from, if they're one of the ones that take the helmet off or not.
Yeah, he would. I've done it before. It's not been an issue. I don't do it in public just because the protection aspect, right? But
yeah.
Yeah, he would. He's not one of the, I think it's Children of the Watch is what the ones are that.
Yeah, Children of the Watch.
Yeah, he's not one of those, so he'll take his helmet off.
There is a Mandalorian name generator. Just as there is with the Frankish and Saxons.
Yeah, who is the Mandalorian? Who is the covert leader here? It's not me, is it?
It's going to be this chick. Her name is Naren Fang. Just Mandalorian female.
Oh boy!
All right.
What was her name? I say
Naren Fang.
Naren Fang. Yep. You see her kind of in council with several other Mandos, kind of at a table. As you approach, they grab a bunch of credit chips and stand up and leave. Naren kind of stands up and welcomes you. Tosh, welcome back to the covert. I see you have brought friends. More of our kind. This is most unexpected.
It was a surprise to me as well. He turns and looks. They're in the presence of my friend here, Kal Bala. And he tries to. He thinks about it. Maybe introducing him as a smuggler might not be the best way to do it. Free trader by trade.
Cal,
These two I've just met.
Cal is definitely nervous and intimidated, like surrounded by all these Mandos, you know. And he's like, but he's smiles and he's trying to be respectful, even though he doesn't know, like, probably anything about their culture or whatever. So, but he like just smiles and he bows.
Well met.
Very nice to meet you. This is a lovely place here.
You are much too polite, outsider. I am quite aware of its shortcomings, but I am most anxious to hear the origins of these two others who walk the way. Tosh, you have found others of our kind, and unfortunately, and she kind of turns and like pushes towards you, and I'm going to use a dark side point. I'm going to say, and you have not been silent. And you can hear a bunch of stormtrooper voices over this thing. It's like a police scanner type analog. And you hear a bunch of stormtrooper voices trying to make excuses to their officers over the radio. And they're after three individuals in Mandalorian armor and one blonde-haired female and another most handsome and dashing male who instigated some sort of violence in the spaceport, killed several troopers, and then vanished. You have brought disorder into our covert, Surgeon. I find this most unpleasant. I do know that we had planned to leave, but not just yet, and not in such disorder.
The failure is mine. We were taken unaware. They were after Bran, trying to take the foundling from us.
Who?
I should have been more. And he pauses and remind me of that name one more time, Bo. It was
The Bran
technocracy.
technocracy, yeah.
5 lackeys to something called the Bran technocracy. They were interested in taking Bran and my armor.
Are they aware of your foundling's special talents?
The ones we encountered didn't seem to be.
Sonic feels the need to speak up as this whole situation is reminding him a bit of his youth, and he says, "But there are others that do. That's why we're here." He might be speaking out of place, but he does anyway. "My brother and I are in Kal Bala. That's why we came. To retrieve the girl and another for a Jedi."
Well then, you should be aware that as part of the creed that younglings are a Mandalorian once and forever. She will not be rejoining her cache of wizards who such ill-treated her in the past. I do believe that Tosh will back me up on this, as well as Tarlok and every single other Mandalorian in this covert. Unfortunately, Ordo, you will be leaving empty-handed if that is your aim.
It is not. We were tasked with the mission. We did not know that she had been taken in by a clan, and we will honor our traditions and our ways by allowing you to keep Bran Fedik. The Jedi are no more. We know this, but we also know there are still some of them out there looking to find people similar to them to protect them from the Empire, for we know what they're capable of. Mandalorians know that more than anyone, possibly save the Jedi.
Indeed we do. The Jedi Order has nearly been hunted to extinction. And when the Imperial Beast does not find their quarry, they will find us, outsider from Clan Ordo. So, we are at an impasse. This Jedi that you are working with, what is their name, and can they be trusted?
I believe she can be trusted. Her name is, I believe, Swaluhara. We allowed her to live. We were tasked with hunting her down, but when we realized who she was, we agreed to allow her to live, because while they may have fallen from their position of power in the galaxy, I believe them to be a more trustworthy group of people than the Empire.
She is clearly not well informed, however, as she thought that the girl, he kind of points to Bran, was abducted.
Well, in a manner of speaking. Tell me, do any of you know the name Kibo Lin? And he looks to Bran to see if she reacts to that.
She slowly shakes her head, and every single Mandalorian there does the Boba Fett head shake. This name means nothing to me, Titus Ordo.
I believe that is also a Padawan, but they have been captured by this technocracy, and I believe it is the other person this Jedi is looking for, and I have agreed, along with my brother and Kal, to retrieve him. He is in better hands with us Mandalorians and even the Jedi than any sort of criminal organization or the Empire. I think we all can agree upon that.
Surgeon will speak up. I agree. And they're Mandalorian. We should render aid to them.
Naren and Tarlok kind of look at each other, and Naren will say, "A moment to discuss in private, Tosh."
He nods and he'll go with them to discuss.
Yeah, Tarlok and Naren, let's say like they're a couple, like that's her husband or something.
Mm.
And so they take Surgeon kind of into the back room, and Tarlok will say to Tosh, "Why would you want to get mixed up in the affairs of wizards? I see no upside to us. We need credits, Tosh, and a ship to get us off this planet. This covert can only remain in secrecy for so long."
First, I respect that, Tarlok, but these are our traditions. These two Mandalorians come to us for aid. They would not ask if they did not need it. Secondly, this offers us an opportunity. If we were to help recover this Kibo Lin, this child, from the technocracy, we may be able to reclaim some credits belonging to the technocracy. They've clearly earned them through ill means and used them to purchase our salvation, to purchase a ship for the Covert, for the clan.
The surgeon has a good argument, Tarlok. Return to your friends. Tell them that we will aid them. But the Mandalorian covert on Corellia is a self-determined faction. We do not take orders from outsiders, but we will render aid.
Thank you, Nora. And he will step out.
Good.
Yeah, a surgeon will come back, look to the Ordos. The Covert will aid you in recovering the child from the technocracy. Miss Kibo Lin, I believe you said their name was?
Correct.
You will have our aid. Our leader wanted me to remind you that they will remain an independent faction in this, but you will have our support. We have our own goals with this situation.
I respect your self-determination and appreciate your assistance on this matter, though I will say you are welcome on our planet on any time if you ever choose to decide to be part of something greater, to be more than just an individual part, to be part of a whole as we try to right what happened to us.
I appreciate that offer. My goal is for this covert first. Eventually, though, I would like to see the Mandalorians united once more. We've been apart for far too long.
Sonic nods and says, "Your foundling. I don't know if she's there. If she is, he would probably still talk about her. She has gifts. She's a Padawan, or was. Is that right?"
Yeah, the surgeon looks a bit hesitant about it, but he recounts some of the events. He nods. She was tricked, I will say, by one of those wizards. He was a dangerous man. Poor plans. I could not allow the foundling to remain with him. He was put down.
He looks, his face betrays him. He looks almost disappointed. Um, she will need training in the ways of the Force, as well as the ways of the blade and the blaster. Else, children become confused with these powers and not able to control them.
Perhaps it's best if she buries it and forgets she ever had them.
My sentiments exactly. The less she knows of it, the less she uses it. The easier. Well, perhaps easy is not the right word, but the more normal her life will be as a Mandalorian.
It is difficult to forget these things. I know from experience. He just shrugs.
I will be there for her, if and when she needs help, or feels that pull. And his mood, his face darkens a bit when he's thinking about Jaren. I know of someone who may be of use in that field, though I am loath to see him again. He looks to Kal Bala, thinking Kal knows who he's talking about.
Cal will look up. He's like started to mess with some cards and stuff on the table.
This is boring talk, right?
Yeah, probably playing a game with another Mando, and he says, I went back to the ship to rescue him from himself. I think he's coming around, though.
Are you certain? Last I saw, he was not a fan of cheap liquor or robots. Recounting the time in the bar when he just absolutely destroyed everything.
Yeah. He thinks about it for a second, he smiles, and he's like, I could save him. I couldn't save my sister, though.
Sorry, Cal.
We've met Typho, right? Like, I know we have, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if Sonics can put 2 and 2 together. I just can't remember what happened very well.
Out of character, I mean, he just acted very much an Inquisitor mostly through your sessions. But
does he know I'm
Tosh,
Force sensitive? Did I tell him? Does he know? I can't remember.
He knows.
Okay.
I think he knows.
You didn't tell him. He knew.
Yeah,
that's
the surgeon,
right. I tried to do something or something. Oh yeah. Okay. I vaguely remember.
The surgeon has known Jaren since he was a Jedi on the run, all through his downfall and stuff.
Yeah.
So he knows there's still good in him. I can feel it.
I don't know. Cal might. I don't.
You probably don't think so now after seeing what he was doing last.
No, I don't. I saw him go hang out with the Empire. I'm skeptical.
Yeah, he was getting bad when Surgeon was around.
Sonics shrugs and says, "She's your foundling, but if she has any questions that I may be able to answer for her, I'm here. I didn't have that when I was a child. No offense, brother."
I will let her know. So, I suppose we should figure out how we can best go about getting this Kibo Lin, this child, this Force sensitive.
We need to figure out anything we can about this. What were they called?
The Bran Technocracy.
The Bran Technocracy. Perhaps we could play a ruse. Act like we're selling Bran to them. Get entrance from the inside.
We have to find a good way to connect with them first. Perhaps we know some people here. Perhaps we have some information.
Has your covert ever worked with them in any capacity?
It's a good question. Does Surgeon know offhand?
You can say whatever you want if you want to use the light side point.
Do we have those? I think we have one.
We have
He
one.
flipped one on us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one, yeah.
I'll flip one back. Why not? I don't think mine's synced.
Yeah, they look
It
weird.
might-
I think
Yeah.
just click it and it'll do it. Mine said 3 and 3 earlier too.
Okay. Yeah. Let me see about.
Yeah,
It's
let
just
me
a
sync.
huge
Let me sync it. If I do
I think mine says 3 dark, 1 light.
force player update
Getting
should change
cleared
it.
down.
Now.
I've got 2 force still. That's okay. As long as yours is good, I don't.
Yeah.
I'll just use lights up. There we go.
There
Yeah,
goes.
it works for you. Yeah. Let's say. I can just make something up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Surgeon thinks about it with Bran technography, and I do recall something. One of the members of our covert did a job for them. They called it reclamation. It was more like a snatch and grab. So one member of our covert and a couple of hired hands. They accomplished the mission. The pay was delivered as it was expressed. Perhaps this Mandalorian knows that contact can reach out to them. We can get that information. And I'll go looking for that member.
Kind of as he's looking for his fellow Mandalorian that might have been in contact with the technocracy, he looks to Cal and Sonics and he's like, do we try and act like we're representatives of the Empire with our work with Jaren and say we're here to collect them or purchase them off the books, of course? Or do we just find out, if we can, the location of the child and go in blasters blazing?
If this Bran technocracy works out in public, they probably have the support of the Empire.
They might be able to call somebody and see if it checks out. Then we'd be in deep trouble. I don't think I could crawl out of that hole.
I think it would be a good idea to make contact with them, perhaps, and actually see if we can buy the child from them. I'm sure they were interested in the highest bidder. Maybe Kal Bala, you can play a role in that with your silver tongue.
Yeah.
Or, what if Typho, and he says it out loud, not knowing the surgeon who he was talking about, or if Typho could pose as an inquisitor. Take the child.
What do you mean, pose?
Well,
Yeah, Surgeon was just bringing back this fellow Mandalore. This can be Crash. Just bring back his fellow Mandalore, and he hears Typho, and he looks to. This is not a name Sonics should know, and he's like, "How do you know that name, Typho?"
we met him through Kal Bala.
We were under his employ.
Yeah, Surgeon looks at Cal like, huh? Like, what's going on? He looks at Cal. Employ.
He's like, yeah. He's like, When I went there to rescue my sister and him, I had to pretend like I was friends with the Empire for a couple of jobs.
Do you know Typho?
Typho is the the former Jedi that I mentioned, the one who I would look for Bran's training if she desired it or needed it.
My advice to you, my friend, is to have her stay far away from him. He works for the Empire.
Noted.
But what I'm saying, though, is he's not going to work for them for long. He's trying to get out. He's ready to leave with us.
He did help us double-cross them. Don't know if it would be some elaborate plan, but maybe it is a bad idea to inform him of the girl, or I'm sorry, the boy. We might end up taking her back to the Empire.
And the surgeon
yeah,
nods.
you would have like a little.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Bran. Sorry, I'm talking about that kid, the other kid.
Debo.
Yeah, this kid.
Yeah, Debo.
This kid here.
Kibo.
Debo Lin.
Mm-hmm.
Kibo Lin. Anime Kibo.
Nice. Yeah, surgeon would agree with that, and he nods. And not to mention, he might not be long for this world. And he looks to Cal. How many people have you heard about that just leave the Empire after they're a part of it?
Yeah, we've been playing a game of double cross for a while now, and we don't have long. I wish he could have left with us back when we left.
The surgeon will gesture to the Mandalorian he brought back. This is Kresh from our Covert. He's the one that worked with the Bron technocracy.
Yeah. So yeah, surgeon wouldn't have seen him since Nar Shaddaa. Yeah, Crash kind of follows the surgeon.
Hey, Tosh. You have some business for me? What is the newcomers want to know about the technocracy? Huh? Word on the street is they're going to be planet-side for about another month. Rounding up fugitive Jedis and other political prisoners for resale back to the Empire.
You're saying the relationship with the Empire is purely economical?
Of course it is. They provide the Empire with all the munitions and weapons technology they can muster. They're a go-between between the more savage races of the Outer Rim and the Empire. A brokerage firm, if nothing else. Of course they have their enforcer class they used to do business as well, but when it comes down to it, the technocracy is in it for the credits. And they can be trusted where credits are concerned. At least if they're not scared of the Empire.
So you're saying they might be willing to entertain a bidding war for an individual currently in their possession?
But, brother, I do think we're going to outbid the Empire. Our business is to make money, not spend it.
I never said we were actually going to go through with the transaction. We just need to make them think we're going to.
Well, they probably think the same thing, that we can't afford it. Here's what I suggest. Not Typho, but I will pose as an Inquisitor. I have some skill. I don't have a lightsaber, but get me some dark clothing, right? And we'll need to steal some Stormtrooper armor and pose as the Empire ourselves. And come to collect the boy, pay the money, perhaps have a meet somewhere remote, and then we can double-cross them and with our Mandalorian friends kill them and reclaim the boy. Don't know what you think about that, but it's the best I can come up with. A frontal assault will be dangerous and likely get a lot of these men killed.
The surgeon scratches his chin. He nods along. It's a solid plan. There is another angle we could look at. He will wave to Bran to come over. And we do have another angle. We could pose a business proposition, same as yours, but for us selling Bran to them. We might be able to gain access to their facilities. Somewhere where we can find where this Kibolin is being held. Break them free, cause a ruckus, work from the inside, and it will help our Covert accomplish their mission as well. We're in dire need of credits. I intend to take some from technocracy.
It's also a solid plan, but I worry about putting your foundling in danger.
Our lives are nothing but danger, Sonics. And I would be there for her. It's a ruse. Wouldn't get separated.
Bran would come back to everybody and she would say,
I've been with Toss for nearly a year now. It's time that I prove myself in a dangerous situation. This is the way.
This is the way.
What do you think, brother? Kal?
I prefer a straight-up fight sometimes, but I also know when a different approach might be better suited for what we have available.
That sounds good to me. We can just, I was looking forward to seeing you all dressed up, though. I mean, you looked the part.
I much prefer my Mandalorian armor.
And if it gets everybody credits, I'm good with anything. And I'd like to get these kids to safety.
Yes. I would like to hear more about your former master, Bran. And what happened to him.
she looks to the surgeon and back.
Yeah, the surgeon will nod to Bran. They can be trusted. But if you talk about it, then you don't have to.
His name was Naismith Gerard. I was being held on a covert on Nar Shaddaa. He promised to take me to safety, to show me the ways of the Force. In those days, I didn't know what to believe. I had my budding abilities that were just making themselves known to me at the most inopportune times, and I did not want to bring danger to my covert, so I went with Mason. It was Tosh here. He took me under his wing. He showed me respect. Dare I say, even a bit of love. It's what I needed. And now, as you both have seen, I've grown powerful. I'll grow stronger still with time. Give me this opportunity to prove myself, Tosh. I won't disappoint you.
She kind of looks for the approval of everyone.
Yeah, Vosh will nod with a slight smile on his face, like, man, the kid's growing up fast.
Well then, into the lion's den, as they say. Your Mandalorian can, your friend Kresh can arrange a meet.
Surgeon will look to Kresh.
Of course, I can arrange a meeting. I can make it happen within the week.
Yeah, Surgeon will extend an arm to clasp to Kresh. Many thanks, brother.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Yeah.
If there's nothing else, we'll call it a night. I know that Ghost has a hard stop at 12:30, so.
Yes.
Perfect timing.
That's perfect. Plans in motion.
I gotta roll D10 versus conflict, right? Or do you want me to just store it?
Just store it for now, it's fine.
What a fucking return.
Fun, man.
Triple Mando and Kal Bala, you can't get better than that. only if Wanderer showed up and
started destroying.
Oh.
You gotta look back at where he destroyed the tavern or whatever. What did he do? Just start going ham on stuff? Or?
He just got really pissed off about something. Like
It was like a Kylo Ren moment. Like just threw
like
a fit.
Pouty, like
just threw a fit.
Yeah. He I don't know what he was mad about even. Like I can't even remember what it was. We had just gotten out of a fight, I think.
Cal got messed up in that.
Yeah, and we had just gotten out of a fight, and like Jared, I think Jaren like had some difficulties. He got hurt, other people got hurt, and like he didn't really perform super well, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So he took it out on the bar and just like fucked it up. Like it was just he killed some robots and shit. And there's like one robot left. He's like, please don't kill me. Like he's just standing there like, whoa.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think somebody posted the fucking stormtrooper gif where they're like walking towards it and then they hear him freaking out and like, oh no, and they turn around and like just go the other way. It's like that was 100% what Jaren Typho was up to.
He's pretty good now. I mean, he's had XP through this campaign and the other one.
That guy looks really good. He looks super trustworthy.
Yeah, right. Why are your eyes red? That's kind of a telltale sign.
Yeah, it's you want to talk about it, Jaren? I think Jaren's living on the edge, man. That guy's like 60-40 dark light.
Yeah.
Edging.
He has a Sith holocron too that's talking to him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he does. He has
He just.
Oh, you haven't met this chick. This is my favorite NPC.
Yes, she's my favorite too.
Oh my.
That booty.
She likes me.
She does. She likes Cal.
She does. That's right. I forgot.
You charmed her. You charmed her. You did like a hard. I think it was a hard one.
It was
Cal, you can't